So I've been told by the camp host that I can go up this gravel road a couple miles, and there's a trailhead called Pinnacle Crest Trailhead. Yeah, so we'll see how far up this road I can go. It's going to go up, it's going to switch back, and hopefully in about a mile up here I'll be able to access the Pinnacle Crest Trail. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's getting me out here. It would have taken me all day to hike this, but if this gets me to the trailhead that I want to get to, that's a 3 mile out and then 3 mile back hike that will take me right to the base of Mount Hood. Like, there are no more trails past that point. It's just a circle around the base of Mount Hood. So past that, you're a mountain climber. So yeah, let's find out how far I can take this. Didn't see those bush branches scratch against my car. Yep, there's gonna be some buffing and some paint jobbing maybe at the end of this trip. Yeah, so this trailhead may be worth the drive up this gravel road to that mountain. Yeah, it was a narrow road with branches sticking up. Probably got them on my roof too. Hopefully those buff out. But hopefully it was worth it. But I suspect it will be. This would be a nice campsite. But the reason I suspect it will be is this trail will go 3 miles in that direction. Well, I'm certainly not getting out of here in a hurry if I have to. So right off the bat, coming through this burn field, which is highly exposed to the sun and uphill pretty steeply, you can see all the tree falls, from waist level to lower. Some you can step over fairly easily, others you have to kind of climb over, and they just keep going. Yeah, definitely starting off with the borderline expert level stuff here for sure. Yeah, so I've really got to watch my step out here because it is treacherous. Here's another tree fall in the trail. Very easy to lose your footing and slip and fall and just basically impale yourself on any of those, or just get an injury, break an ankle, a wrist. And it is remote out here. I'm not going to say no one's coming for you. I do have the Garmin SOS satellite device, but unlikely anyone's just going to pass through here and find you. You need to call for help, and I'd really rather not have to do that. So I'm taking it real slow and methodical, and especially through these tree falls, and hopefully the trail kind of levels out or gets a little clearer once we get out of this tree field here. So I think I'm about to exit the fire damage field here and go into the woods, I believe, and I'm ready for some shade and some cool breeze. I'm getting a little cool breeze here, and I'm certainly going to miss being able to just look up anytime I want and see that mountain, because I will never get tired of looking at it. So remember what I said about that the trail was moving into the woods and I was looking forward to some shade and cool breeze? Well, it was a lie. It was a bait and switch. The trail twice now is angled as though it was about to go in the woods and then turned back into the burn field at the last minute. And this right now, this one tree is like the first shade I've had in about half an hour. So I've moved out of the original burn field and into an even bigger one. was really hoping to get into the forest and get some shade. And this is encouraging to see. I came up on this and thought, oh, it's a information kiosk, maybe with some map or something. No, just a skull and crossbones. Yeah. So I'm going to move forward for about, my original turnaround time was 1:15 and it's 20 to 1 now. I'm going to go for like another 15 minutes, maybe 10. And if it's just more and more of these burn fields, I think I'm going to turn around. Boy, if you just dropped me in here with zero knowledge of what the deal was, I would be just as apt to believe that a volcanic eruption had occurred here as opposed to just a fire. It's just, big ass tree and just one of these after another, these big trees just blowing over and everything charred and burned, just constantly fighting my way through the trail here, just one obstacle after another. And by obstacle I mean 60-foot trees knocked over. And like I said, at the trailhead there was a sign basically saying beware of fire damaged trees, that they could just fall over at any time. It looks like this one did. So 15 more minutes. So I think I'm calling it. As far as I can tell, this trail just keeps going through more of the burn field, and I'm pretty close to my turnaround time anyway. And in the amount of time I have left, I'm not gonna get to anything where I can see an amazing overlook. It's just not gonna happen. And getting to see Mount Hood from a quarter mile or half a mile closer than back there where I had an unobstructed view, I don't think is going to change a whole lot. I don't really feel like climbing over 500 more trees, and I'm going to head back through the burn field. So it was a cool hike though, but heading back. Well, what do you know? So there's Mount Adams in the distance. And when I say the distance, that's probably 30 to 40 miles away. And it's big. I mean, even from this distance, and the camera will not do it justice, but there's a huge volcano right there. And then directly behind me, Mount Hood. It's amazing how these volcanoes just dominate the landscape out here. They're just so singular, and they have their own weather systems that just kind of hang around them. It's amazing. The only clouds in the sky are around the summits of these mountains or these volcanoes. It's amazing. All right, so I'm back from my hike up the Pinnacle Crest Trail towards Mount Hood, and this little shady spot I'm in has basically been like the only one on the whole trail. I only hiked about 1.5 miles out, even though it was 3 miles out, 3 miles back. But I only hiked about 1.5 miles out because it was an extremely treacherous trail. Basically, it was like a preview of my stay that's going to happen in a week or two in Lassen Volcanic Park in California. I mean, the whole hike was through a burn field from a forest fire, and it could have just as easily have been from a volcanic eruption. I mean, it was just desolation, complete exposure to the sun the whole way. strangely no wind, just very still, so it was very hot. Like I say, the trail itself was treacherous just from the footing, and then every 10 feet or so, the whole way up, the whole way back, you had to climb over tree falls. Some of them were, you know, this high. Some of them were you could step over, but they were all treacherous. They were all difficult. Yeah, that was a tough hike. And if I had gone like another quarter mile up, I would have actually made it to the pinnacle, which is like a rock pinnacle, and I would have felt like I had to climb that. And you know, so that would have been another, you know, add another 2 hours to the hike. I'm just gonna quit while I was ahead was my point of view. There were a lot of ways to get injured out there, and it was really hot, really demanding. And I hiked 4.5 hours yesterday, which was my first hike since having COVID. So that's good enough for now. Coming down this fire road, I just had to like cut my way through some brambles with my machete because they scratched up my car on the way up the road, but that's a pretty nice view. And I don't know how many times I can say it, but the camera does not even come close to doing this mountain justice. That thing is just towering over everything here. Amazing.